Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk Away A1A podcast, episode 3. We are your hosts. I am Alan, also known as Hexy, and we have aka Shadows Rain, aka the producer, aka Craig, aka the Hoff. And today we're going to discuss the following. If you would like to take over, Craig.
Yes, we are going to be discussing Apex Season Legacy and all that comes with it.
Titanfall 2 free-to-play weekend.
Scavengers release, and what is our first impressions?
Is Scavengers a mobile game? Does it have a life?
That'll be a very controversial one. Resident Evil Village, it's looking good, but is it good?
Hoff is in the market for a micro ITX build.
Yeah. And then we're going to have Yee, which is news, announcements, and rumours, which today is going to be featuring the confirmation that there will be a new COD game this year with Warzone integration.
And everyone's all-time favourite,
Did Yee Kna. So, yeah, let's crack right in with it, mate. Apex Legends. That's dropped a new season, and with new season comes new content. And I feel as if that's a game which is starting to come back on the rise again, because it started really strong and then it kind of like fell off a cliff, and now it's just been like slowly building its a steady audience back up again. So it's got a new 3v3 game mode as well, which is delightful. It's actually really good. So Apex is going strong, man. What's your vibe on it?
So Apex was a definitely good starter. It hit the content scene like a storm at the beginning. Obviously it was in the time of towards the end of PUBG, before Call of Duty, so it had a good intro. But it's good if you can get it to work. That's the thing. So I tried to play it like 4 or 5 times, and it load up and cut off, and I just couldn't get the game to work. I still haven't had the opportunity to play that 3v3.
Well, that was due to the fact that many people were trying to get on the game at the same time, which kind of like caused a couple of server lags, believe it or not. So yeah, the popularity of the game has become its own enemy there. But
what about yourself? Did you get any?
Yeah, actually, I've snuck in a few games. And the first impressions is really good. Now, I played a lot of Titanfall 2, when that was like a thing, and the North Star Titan plays very similar to the new character Valkyrie, and it's really good. Like, kind of what started the hype for Titanfall 2 was when Blizzard said in the cinematic trailer, pilots, that used to mean something, and everyone just wanted to go play on that. But we'll come back into that later. But like, the character just feels so good. And yeah, maybe it's not the most, like, it's not broken. I don't know, I just kind of enjoy the kit. It might not be the strongest kit in the game, but I do enjoy the kit. So yeah, but mainly, let's talk about the revival that Apex Legends is going through, because for us two in particularly, when Warzone came out, we didn't really touch it for a good, I want to say year. We didn't really get back into it until season 5, season 6.
Well, you got to remember also, before lockdown, so before March, my PC that I had at the time wasn't actually capable of playing it was capable of playing Call of Duty, just not at the standard I was with it. It was actually better at that point for us to use my PlayStation, and I actually I learned Apex on a PlayStation. Wow. And that's like, so I was there from release. I played it from release for a good few months, and I was back and forth between that PUBG and Rocket League. And the backing and the following it's got now seems to be actually getting a lot larger, a lot quicker than what it did first time round, especially with this new integration.
Yeah.
With the multiplayer.
Yeah, well, exactly. I know 3v3 doesn't sound like that much, but it plays a lot like it plays a little bit like CS. It's got the same kind of mechanic as CS:GO, Rogue. What's the other one? It eludes me. Valorant, where like you start every round, you got to buy all the stuff that you want to use. You can choose a horde, so it's kind of like that. However, it's obviously got the Apex feel, and the people who made Apex, as everyone knows, are the people that made the much beloved Modern Warfare 2, the original ones, and it just has that smooth gunplay about it, and I really enjoy it. And I think this game is starting to get back. I know that EA, I think they've got like a 10-year plan for this game, which was a bit optimistic considering how it started, but now it's starting to actually get somewhere. the pro scene's starting to get a bit more consistent now as well. So yeah, the game's got a bit of
it hit a hype, didn't it, on the pro scene? It went like woomph, and then it just it hit a peak, but its shortfall was really quick, and then it's kind of like zigzagging back up.
It's getting back up to where it was, which is really good to hear. So really happy about that. But like I say, like the player count, as you mentioned, is steadily going up. And speaking of player counts that's going up, let's briefly talk about Titanfall 2.
Before we head over,
go on.
Before we head over to Titanfall, because we haven't really discussed the maps and how the movement mechanics work on these smaller maps. Like, so what's it like navigating around these maps? Or is the
movement
does it
system
look very familiar?
The movement system, I feel, suits this game mode more.
Like faster.
It
with
feels
having such a smaller area.
It feels faster. So I don't know if you ever played the winter event. What was it called? It was like a Mirage takeover event. It was on the Olympus map.
Yes.
The train mode. The movement and everything works really well in the smaller, tighter gunfights. And it kind of gets transferred over a bit to this, and the fact it's a permanent game mode as well is all the better. But this game mode is really, really, really good. I can't stress that enough. Like, if you're not interested in the battle royale genre, download Apex and just give that mode a try. It is actually phenomenal. Like the movement, it feels a bit tighter in that, even though it's the same mechanics, it just feels like it works better. So yeah, just some.
But it's kind of like a competing game with Call of Duty now, if you think about it, because
no, I don't think
one thing that Apex didn't have was that multiplayer mechanic. And now it does. I'm not meaning like it's competed, like obviously Call of Duty is like way like it's in the lead by like margins. But what I'm saying, when you kind of look at the market, it's kind of give itself that other option to bring it back into the game.
I think for those who are in the multiplayer category, yes, because I think we need to talk about Call of Duty and Warzone as two different entities, because they really are. So in terms of Call of Duty multiplayer, that is a competitor now. It is a massive competitor now. So yeah, I quite agree. It is getting there, and we'll see as the week goes on if it's going to hold the player base or not. But hopefully it does, because I want to see some damn competition, because the gaming market, and as we mentioned in the first episode of the podcast, if consoles are doing well, PCs, that's good for PCs, because then PCs, like, manufacturers get off their arse and they actually start sorting stuff out and actually being competitive. And it'll be the same for Call of Duty. If they're getting complacent and better games are coming out, guess what? They're going to start making better games. Because you got to remember, Warzone came off the back of competition. Warzone came off the back of Fortnite, PUBG, Apex Legends. I think there was another one that came out at the time that was quite popular. And DayZ, was it? And their multiplayer formula wasn't working, so they had to compete, and Warzone came out of it. So the more that we can compete with the Call of Duty genre, the better Call of Duty will be in the long run as well. So I'm all for competition personally. So hopefully it kind of goes up and takes it from there. But yeah, shall we move on to Titanfall 2 now?
Yes, one of Craig's original favourites before the battle royale genres. And I agree why. You've got many reasons, Craig, and would you like to kind of go further on them?
So
it has a lot of mechanics in that game.
Of course. So, like, you know, when everyone was moaning about Call of Duty having the 3D movement mechanics where, like, you jump and boosting everywhere and wall running and stuff like that, that was ripped from Titanfall, because Titanfall's movement system is that good. It's that good. It hasn't been done justice by Call of Duty developers. But the way well, technically it's the same system. The way that Titanfall did it, it was polished, it was clean. Even Titanfall 1, I played a lot of Titanfall 1, and I loved the game. Didn't have a single player mode, which was a bit shunt. And then Titanfall 2 came out, and I felt as if all the problems that Titanfall 1 had, Titanfall 2 fixed. And the single player campaign, for a first person shooter campaign, though short, it was really good. I don't mean the
story draws you in as well. It's not hard to follow.
Yeah, like the law of the world kind of thing.
Very little interest, doesn't it? Like, you don't have to be fully engaged in it. Like, the game will do all the work for you to keep your interest. Like, and it'll just throw you giant robots to play with.
Yeah, the law of the world is easy to follow. And like it goes from just escape the planet, like which is like the majority of the game, like escape and kind of do these little side quests, to then all of a sudden you're saving the bastard galaxy, you know. So
don't forget you've got to kill everything.
Yeah, so
like you can't leave levels with enemies on.
The game just in single player, the single player like escalates quickly, but it is really good and it gives you a good vibe for the game as well. And like it's amazing, like you kind of like have a little tear in your eye at the end. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Download the game, play it, even if you don't like multiplayer. Single player again, like it's not a massive experience, but it's nice, it's charming, and it's got a good vibe to it. But this whole happened when Season 9 Legacy of Apex was announced, and obviously you got the North Star's daughter, who I forget the name of the Viper, I think it was. That was the agent there. But yeah, similar mechanics, similar vibe. Everyone wanted to play Titanfall, and Respawn was like, "All right, we're hearing that everyone wants to play Titanfall, so let's make it free to play." And the player counts went from 3,000 to 30,000, give or take. That's huge. And it's averaging, even now, a week later, about 7. So people are actually sticking with it, which means there is a market for this game. And I think the game was butchered by its release date. There was 3 weeks between Battlefield and Call of Duty that year. I can't remember which Call of Duty it was. It might have been Black Ops 3 or Black Ops... I think it was Black Ops 3.
Was it?
No. It's not that old. So, yeah, it got sandwiched between them games. And EA was like, wait, it's different to the other two? It's like, but it's still a first-person shooter. Like, people don't have money just to buy 3 games. They're going to buy 1 or maybe 2. And they're going to go for the one that everyone knows. Like the Battlefield and the Call of Duty. So they butchered it with that release date. They really did. But... Now
the intros to this game are really good though as well for people who aren't FPS multiplayer friendly and things like this. The introduction in these games are they're not detailed, they're very simple, and a lot of the mechanics from Titanfall obviously fall over to Apex. So when you jump in between games, if you want to learn Apex, it's not a bad shout to take the opportunity.
Titanfall 2 is a fantastic warm-up mode for Apex. I know you got the firing range in Apex now, but
multiplayer,
it's still like it's a competitive warm-up because you do move faster in Titanfall. There is more people floating about in the air, and of course there's AI and stuff as well, which if you don't respect will kill you quite quick. So yeah, well, I must say when I was playing Titanfall, there was North Stars everywhere. However, I am a Legion main, as you may have heard in that video, and I did have a solution to that. So usually I have to build my Legion a little bit, not conservatively, but I need to be prepared to get myself in tight situations. Whereas,
agile. Go for the speed steps.
Well, you can't really be agile in a Legion, but you can kind of give yourself a little bit of... People like get close to you, which is a weakness of Legion. You've got like a double shotgun that I can attach and be like, bang, get effed. But with that, I can change that I can change that shotgun into a sniper shot, which does just as much damage as a fully charged North Star attack. And I can just do that twice over North Star's like, yeah, mate, I'm a North Star, get me. I can be like, yeah, mate, I'm a Legion with a sniper, which is on like a 20-second cooldown. Bang, bang. And they only have like 3 bars of health, and each one of those shots, if you hit a crit area, will do a bar each. So they can be left on 1 in critical state, so...
Yeah.
Suck it, mate.
A general response, if you get a player in there, which you'll find, is they'll back out. But the best thing about being on Titanfall 2 is that being in the robot isn't the be-all and end-all. You can attack those and take them out in a press of a button with the character themselves by climbing on top, getting above, which is very effective as well.
Oh yeah, like
grappling hooks.
There's AI bots that can deal damage to the Titans as well. Which, like I say, it's like the normal bots when you're an actual player. Like individually, they're not going to do that much damage, but if you don't respect them, they will kill you. So yeah, you do need to kind of like deal with them, little ants, so to speak. But yeah, we've talked about Titanfall 2 now. Now really,
speaking of deadly AIs,
deadly AIs. You take it away, mate.
So Scavengers releasing first impressions. I like the game. I do like the game. I think it brings a lot. It's a team building game. You kind of do it without your team. It's not a solo. And essentially, the goal of the game is to extract with as many resources as possible, including gold and things that you can kind of break down for other materials to do upgrades and stuff. It's a free game. It's not pay to win, though Craig has his version. But you can't put any real money into the game currently. And on the last patch notes, they're not actually looking to put any pay to win in there at all. And anything that's in there is actually skins. So even if they did put a currency in there, skins? Is it a skins wins maybe? I don't know. But not at the moment. 100% not at the moment. And they're actually talking about a reset as well, because it is cross-platform across PC and consoles. So they're gonna. It was released for PC first, so PC obviously got a massive boost ahead in the early access. But when it comes, they're actually talking about the reset. So the reset, which I think give everyone the opportunity. I
do think that you have to do that. To be fair, they don't want like the game to officially release and then everyone's already like max rank, max researched everything. So what is it that draws you to the game though? What do you like about it?
For me, I quite like it's not a realistic game at all.
What game is?
Wait, PUBG was.
Rhetorical question, Bellend.
So it's not a realistic game. It is a health regeneration, like armor regeneration, not health regeneration, armor regeneration. You have very similar characters as you do Apex. So you've got a healer, someone who does shields. What
was the analogy I use? It was you've got your annoying Healy one, a sniper one, a bitch of a cannon. Yeah. You've got all your stereotypes there. It's all there for you.
Pretty much. So you've got a speeder with a speed stat, which is cruise, which is kind of like an Octane. He gets a speed boost, but with this gentleman's speed boost, he's not just boosting himself. He leaves a trail behind, and your full team can jump on and grab that boost. And as he runs around, it works kind of like a car. People can drop off, and you can use it as a strategy, and you can use it to build flank maneuvers.
Yeah.
And also, it becomes a very tactical game if you know who you're playing with.
So I've just pulled up the script for the video that I made for it, and the exact part for this segment I've got for the stereotypical characters that you'd expect is annoying Healy one, sniper one, speedy boy, melee spice boy, hand cannon bitch, tank with a shotty, and broken compound bow chick with a risky invisibility ability, which when one Karen complains about it, it will get a nerf. So I think that's obviously, as I mentioned, a fair complement of characters.
I have to contradict there because
do it.
It's kind of in reverse. So currently, Callie and Letty, which is the hand cannon bitch and the Invisigirl with the bow, who does insane damage if you can hit your shots. If you can hit your shots. It's not a hit marker, so it's not hit scan for Callie, although it is for Tyreek, who's the sniper. So those two are actually the two worst characters to play in the game. The two best characters is your melee and Tyreek. I think it's Jay and Tyreek.
Scavengers is that you do have to cooperate with your teammates to get anywhere.
Yeah, communication. And as well, the revive system's totally different as well, though.
Go on.
So it's not the same as Apex or Call of Duty, where you have to find a respawn station or a spawn point or a shop. It's a minute. So if two of your guys go down and you're the last one alive, it's like your responsibility to stay alive for those 60 seconds. If you can take that team, great. But 1v3s are very...
Yeah, it's a very long time to kill, isn't it?
Shields. Yeah, because it's a shield game, isn't it, like Apex? And if you come up a 1v3 on Apex, your chances are slim anyway. But in this game, they're even slimmer because you've got third person, people wall peek. The sliding mechanics in this game, considering to the actual run speed, is ridiculous. So someone can actually, if you're running in a straight line and there's a hill down, they can come down that hill and close that distance fast.
Yeah, no,
really fast.
Exactly. And what I kind of like about that kind of mechanic as well is that I can't really say this too much, but Andrew is Tasty, who is now Trojan. He is good at this game, I must admit. But like, if like there's a moment where he's like, I don't fancy this. Right, boys, I'm bailing. If he did that on COD, we'd be foaming. We'd be absolute livid. Like, leaving me to die. Who the do you think you are? Do you know who we are? Where your carries? You're our backpack. Pick us up. But like, yeah. Ooh, just peeking the mic a little bit there. I'm just gonna turn that down. Sorry for anyone watching there. But what I really dig about this is the fact that, like, when he says, "Right, sorry boys, I'm bailing," I'm like, yeah, bail.
See you in a minute.
Get yourself on your bike, son. Be gone.
Yeah. Keep us going. Because the thing with this game, if your team gets wiped, you have lost all progress within that game, within that round. Sorry. So if you spend 15-20 minutes like going in, destroying AIs, leveling up your armor, getting all your gold. I mean, I call them nodes, but the data points.
I call it gold shit.
Yeah, he calls it gold shit. But the data points, and the idea is to get into the extraction ship with as much data points as you can. Now, if you also carry resources during those games to take home, kind of like you would in Tarkov. So you kind of earn stuff during the game, you take it home, you deconstruct it, and then you turn it into either perks, talent, or known as talents in this game, would be like perks, or you would do like weapon upgrades, or you would do like a possible, like maybe a new character, or just like anything that you want to purchase during the game. But if you get, the best way to play this game is to go do your AI support. So go in, do as many nodes as you can, or data points, hit your armor points, your health points along the way. There's little cul-de-sacs where you go in and you just kill AIs, gather points, level up, and go towards the drop zone. But don't go drop zone, because there's some skilled close range players in there, and you can die in there as well, and it's on a timer. So pop up 5 minutes left of the game, drop ship goes in, and everyone's just like going last minute, all sorts of different angles. People are trying to kill people, some people are just trying to survive, people are going invisible, people are going fast, there's domes, there's grenades. It gets quite intense, and it's amazingly fun. Don't get me wrong, but I would say the best way to do would be to find the shortest route to the ship, and within the last 30 seconds just streamline, get as many resources as possible, especially within the early games before going PvP.
I agree. That's the way that the game should be played. However,
yeah,
there is something special and something really fun about being the first on the ship and just being involved in the absolute bedlam of everyone getting
carnage.
On it. Like, it's absolute carnage. If you want to play that way and risk it all, or you've had a game where you've not really got that much, just get yourself on that ship straight away and just go for it. Because by the time the game ends, if you win, you will, like, if you get off the dropship and survive, you'll have picked up so much crap from everybody else. So if you've had a weak game, get yourself on that dropship early. Otherwise, sneak on the last second, which is a good way. To go it. So the next thing I want to ask you really is, does this game have legs?
I do believe it does, but I think it's gonna hit like Fortnite did. So I think it's gonna definitely go more along the younger generation. You probably talk this game is probably gonna be seen as a game ranged, I would say, possibly between the ages of like 13 to about an 18-year-old. It's amazingly fun, but I'm not an idiot. There's kind of like cartoon. It's kind of cartoony, in regards to. But
Apex is kind of cartoony, but it's still like way. Fallout's got a similar art style, and that's still massive.
But it just falls towards the look of a Fortnite, kind of the way the character is. Do you know, kind of, like, if you look at the way the characters dress, it's not a mobile game. The way the characters dress and stuff, it just doesn't seem fit for the climate, even though they've got like hoods and scarves and stuff. But it just, I don't know. I think it could look better.
One of those characters, and it's like,
the effects though. You gotta admit, like, looking around, the storms, like tornadoes,
looks unreal,
crossing your path.
Looks unreal.
And the world is amazing. It's just, for me, the character could use a little bit more work.
Yeah. It's like I think I can't remember. It's the one with that shield which you can shoot out of, and it's like you sat there. Say for example, you're in a storm, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm freezing cold." I was like, "Well, you wouldn't be freezing cold. You got that fucking skimpy outfit." It's like kind of like it, like I'm freezing, and I'm like, "Duh." Then I think there's one character though who's like proper like wrapped up in like proper like. I'm like,
that's Callie the bow bitch.
Yeah, like she's like proper wrapped up and looks like she's like ready for this Arctic fight or whatever. Well, Ice Age fight. And she sat there going, "I'm cold." It's like bullshit. Drama queen. You can't be cold. But no, that's just a little pet peeve. That's not actually like that. Don't like let that influence you get in the game at all. Like where there's been.
Oh yeah, picky.
Where it's been a bit of a meme at the minute. But yeah, like I do quite enjoy the game. I think the game is good. And I do think the game has amazing potential, but I am super duper concerned about its currency and how it's going to be monetized, because I know you're saying, oh, it'll just get picked up like in terms of advertisements and maybe it's esports scene, but I think that's a very naive way to put it. Like unless your game is as big as League of Legends, CS:GO, Call of Duty, there's not that much money in the esports scene. Because if there's money for the actual game itself, usually the large majority of that's paying like the talent to actually come up and attend. And if you haven't got that much money to actually offer people to become pro players, you're not going to get the pro player scene. Is someone who's playing Apex going to leave that for this? No. Someone who's playing COD going to leave COD for that? No. Someone who's for CS:GO Pro going to leave that for this? No. I don't see a market of people that would become pro at this. I don't think it would be worth it.
You say that though, but there's people that left things like CS:GO that are so much, like in my opinion, so much better than games than Fortnite. And people left CS:GO for Fortnite. That's what I mean. It's
because that's where the money was. That's where the money was, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Battle royales have been a thing for years. Like they have been a thing for many years before PUBG. And PUBG got lifted off, and then it became an esport eventually because it started to market a genre that was kind of starting to take a back foot when all the other genres were kind of relaxing and thought that they had it. And then kind of PUBG come along with this amazing big map, I say amazing graphics. It was a rough start, don't get me wrong, but in the end it was really good, and it started a future for these type of games. Now with this, it's made it PvP, like versus AI as well. So I think that's going to be, if you haven't realised, are you not seeing more and more of these games?
Yeah,
of
course.
AIs introduced to games now. People used to complain, "Oh, there's bots in the game." Now people are loving it.
Titanfall 2 had bots, and that was like a massively well-appraised game. Like, you know what I mean? And the bots, it adds depth to the world. It adds a bit character to the world. I don't think you could get away with it in Warzone, because Warzone is super sweaty. Like, super sweaty. Like, the second that you try to kill zombies, the fucking lobbies all out of you. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel on that particular regard. So, yeah, is it a mobile game?
No, it's not.
Make your case.
A lot of the features that you state it's a mobile game. You gotta remember, these games, like in like things like damage markers where it tells you how much damage and all that stuff, before mobile games.
No, you get that in Apex. Like, that's not my.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like at the like yes, everything's free. In regards to research times and stuff, those have been in games for years.
Yeah, but
years.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? There's been loads of research procedures within games that have excellent games. Civ 6. You know what I mean? There's research times.
It's been picked up by mobile games, though. It's been picked up by mobile games because
as a friend, like Fortnite.
It's been picked up by this model has been picked up by mobile games because they're so easily to price gouge, monetize people out of. You want this shit to be quicker? Pay for this. Oh, you're out of this stuff. Well, how about you buy some more from our store? And while you're at it, buy some free upgrade slots or materials to do it. And the second that you make stuff quicker to unlock than everybody else is the second that your game becomes pay to win. And the second that your game is pay to win is the second that your game is a mobile game. Now, that's obviously the monetization structure.
This never happened. So this is very what Craig's talking about. This is not current.
This happens on mobile games all the time. Like,
no, but I'm saying we're talking about Scavengers.
Yeah,
it's Scavengers a mobile game? No, it's not.
I'm convinced I think it is. I think it is because you look at even stuff like the graphics, right? We've got, obviously, I'm on a 1440p monitor, right? A little bit of a flex there. And I've got the game set to high settings, not ultra, but high. So you realistically should be seeing the majority of the graphics that the game has to offer. The texture,
remember.
Yeah, I know, but like the textures, and just the general environment, like they could run on a toaster, and that tells me, it screams that this game was initially designed for phone. Like, I don't know, it's just my instinct. I'm trusting my gut on this one. My gut tells me, which when I play the game and the vibe I get off the game and the way it plays and the way the research works and the way that you can make things faster, it screams this game was initially made for mobile. Maybe they've obviously changed it into a PC game, but I feel as if the core of that mobile game that they obviously were making in my eyes has been put into a PC game. It feels like it's on that kind of engine where it would easily translate to mobile.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong.
Maybe
but you got to remember that it's designed for cross-play. It's designed for everything.
Yeah, I know, but I think
just
for
like
me,
just like Fortnite, it started on PC, it hit a console, it hit mobile. You got to think mobile devices now. We shouldn't give them. Yes, they're no game machine. Are phones what they are 10 years ago? Are they? Hell, they are much better now. I'm running this S21 Ultra that can play. It can play pretty much all games. We can play the Call of Duty mobile games.
Can play Scavengers.
Fortnite. It could probably play Scavengers. It probably could, to be honest. But it could also probably play a Rogue Company, which is also quite a legitimate game that's not seen as a mobile game. So we shouldn't really be kind of going towards the graphics for posting it towards a mobile game. Although I could see how it can be compatible.
So you're right in that regard.
Negative.
I completely agree with that. Like, graphics doesn't necessarily mean mobile game, but the way everything else, the way that I see everything else, the way that everything else works, I feel as if this game started as a mobile game. Maybe it's when the actual full release comes out, it will feel more like a designed for PC game. But at this current moment in time, it feels like a game that was initially a mobile game, which has been turned into a PC game, purely because of how in-depth it got. And it did get in-depth, don't get me wrong. I think it started simple, and when they add things like, for example, the crafting menu, when they add things like your inventory, when they add things like obviously integrating a map in there as well to get a good gauge of where you are. All these little things, I think they've went, we can't really put all these controls on a mobile screen anymore. Like, we kind of need to make this a full-fledged game. And that's just how it feels. It feels in this current stage, it's a mobile game, which... Yeah, I think, I hope, I do, because I do like this game, and I want to be wrong. Yeah. I hope...
And you were good at it.
I hope that this game...
You were actually pretty good at it.
Oh, thanks, B. I hope that this game, by the time its, like, official release comes out, feels like a PC game. Because at the minute, it doesn't. So yes, it's got this research model, it's got this. Maybe these are just the remnants of the mobile game, which might get phased out. Or they'll rethink on the monetization, because I know you don't want to think it, but it is set up to be monetized like a mobile game. That's how it's set up currently.
See where you're coming from.
That's how it's set up currently. So they will need to make some changes to that in the official release, which changes that. If that gets addressed, then I'm on board. So, if it doesn't feel like a mobile game and they do address those concerns, can it be a main game? Because currently I've got this down as a second game. This is a game that you play when you're not playing your main game, whatever that main game may be. So for me, it's competing with the likes of Apex and Rocket League.
Yeah.
Would I pick it over them? In its current state, no. However, it is early access. It is early access. But currently, would I pick it over those two games? No. But if someone's saying, right, we're going to go on Scavengers, do you want to join? Yeah, I've not got a problem with that. I'll jump on it happily. It's a good game. But at the main, it's not a main, and it's struggling to compete with my secondaries. So
it'll definitely take hours out of your life, though.
It took hours out of you. Would you like to tell the audience how, after 48 hours of the game being released, how many hours had you put into it?
24.
24. 24. After the game had been out for 48. That doesn't make it any better. Don't be giving me, oh, well, he did it too. No. You're both as bad as each other. So let's move on to Resident Evil Village. So obviously a new Resident Evil game came out a couple of days ago. It's been received generally quite well as a natural sequel to Resident Evil 7, which was a leap of faith really compared to 5 and 6 beforehand. So I think the game does actually look quite good, and I've already watched a playthrough. I haven't had time to play the game because there is a lot going on, mainly running this channel on top of like sorting other stuff out. But the game does look quite decent. So I want to talk about really the remakes that they've been doing. So if you didn't know, they've been remaking Resident Evil 0, 2, 3, etc. I think they did a remastering of 4 as well. And like they've remade these games to actually be like a third-person game instead of like a top camera like in the corner of a room kind of. You know the vibe. And they've been doing really well. Like the games are really well made and really well polished. So in terms of single-player games is what I'm getting at. What other single-player games that are quite old, like say PS1, PS2 genre, do you think should be remade in a similar vein? Put you on the spot there.
That's really good. That's a good question.
Because I would have initially said the Crash Bandicoot games, but they have just been redone. So
I mean, you see, it just have about 3 years ago.
Loving my life. Loving my life. I want Crash Bash now. It's a good question. So
it's a really good question. So I mean, you're right, Crash Bandicoots, and they did do really good remakes. The Resident Evils have been great. However, their prices are gouging. For a Res Evil game, you're still talking 40-50 quids for Res Evils.
You feel like Resident Evil has an identity again, though.
Yeah.
Because like 5, 6, and they had like a cooperative 4-man game as well. Raccoon City, I think that was called. It though they felt good, it did feel as if they were starting to lose their identity a bit. Yeah. Whereas especially now with
Raccoon City one, I didn't even like it.
Whereas,
it was kind of poo, to be fair.
Yeah, it was kind of poo. Whereas with 7, 8, and obviously the remakes that have come out, they all have a very similar theme. Though obviously 7 and 8 are a bit more spooky and a bit more, what's the word? Obviously eerie and personal with its like genre. Like even with the remake, like this, obviously they still got the audio and it still feels like a survival game as opposed to an action game. Just different themes on the survival, which I think you gotta credit them. Are the newer games to my personal preference? No. Do I appreciate what they're doing with it though? Absolutely. I think that was the natural step for Resident Evil to go, and I think that's a really good place for them. Not really games I can play. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to spooky games like that, I'm a bit of a wimp. I barely played Dead Space. But games like that,
played a little bit of Dead Space.
Yeah,
it was alright. It was good fun.
Resident Evil
wasn't scary though.
I feel as if Resident Evil has its identity again. So I'm really excited to see where they take it. They brought back Mercenaries mode as well for the new one. So that's really cool. And yeah, quite happy with
I was about 7 or 8 years old when I first completed the first Resident Evil.
Really? Damn, you're old.
And I think, to be honest, I know I might have been younger. I think that might have been Resident Evil 2. So my brother was obviously, he used to get like the PlayStation and stuff being the older person, and I used to occasionally get to play. Until literally my parents seen I needed a computer. Like I was using it more than him, and he just wasn't even letting us use it.
That's kind of how Joe was.
Yeah, so like I mean, you gotta remember Resident Evil 2 was a brilliant game, and they remastered that as well, and that was good. That was good. It was expensive though, because I remember the original game was only like £27, and then the remastered was 55.
Yeah, it was
And
quite expensive.
That's freaking double of what the original was.
I don't think it
And
was.
I'd probably still play the original just for the feel because it had that. I don't know.
Yeah, I do like how they've allowed mods to be
Raider
made though.
I want Tomb Raider 1 remade.
Oh, that's your answer. You want Tomb Raider 1 done?
Tomb Raider 1 with a dragon and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the remake, like the reboot
Of
Tomb Raider? Oh, that silence says a lot, doesn't it? Well,
I like the new Tomb Raiders.
that's what I mean. The reboot.
Graphically, they're beautiful.
They are.
Like
They really are.
a movie of a game. It's a game. If you've got a 4K computer, play it.
So for you console peasants out there, I'm joking. We love you all equally. But when it comes, so you'll not know this. So whenever like a new graphics card comes out, obviously for us to kind of get a gauge of how good they are, like we watch like benchmark videos so we can see how good the cards are compared to other cards. And one of the games that are usually always benchmarked are the Tomb Raider game of the day. Obviously the rebooted ones, because the graphics and the textures that's been put into them is absolutely incredible. Those games look amazing. So likes of Witcher, that's always ran. Crisis, that's always a benchmark game. That's just a benchmark game for the sake of being a meme now.
Because that's packed with all sorts of FPS challenges. Where Doom Eternal, because it's got all sorts of monsters. It's got long distance, close distance rendering.
It runs on Vulkan as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an absolute monster of a game to test against.
Yeah.
If you're running Doom Eternal, you're still. If you're playing that, if you can play that game, you can still play any game on the market currently.
So I think the long and short of it is that Tomb Raider on PC, that's the game that gets benchmarked for graphics cards. That's how good the graphics are on PC for it. So yeah, really, 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 really exciting. If you want to see the bigger graphical differences between like console and PC, that's actually a good game to go for, because you can actually see, like, especially like the PS4s when they came out, like when Tomb Raider came out on them, they were very, like, you could see the difference in Tomb Raider. You could be like, wow. Wow, if ever it was the game that you needed to tell the difference on. But I feel as if like YouTube videos don't do side-by-side comparisons any justice, just because of the way that they're compressed. But you have to see them. Like, people who like watch the comparison videos before getting a PC think, well, that's not really worth the upgrade. But then they sit down in front of a PC where there isn't any of this compression on a YouTube video, and they're like, I want one.
Yeah, but that you gotta remember that even when you're sitting watching a YouTube video, if you're doing it off your phone or whatever, you're only gonna see the real FPS, the real resolution that your phone displays. Even if someone's got a 4K like stream or live video up,
well, this is the thing with us, isn't it?
4K, yeah.
This is the thing with us.
I do 1080p. Mine's full HD 1080p, 244 hertz. So it's 1080p. Is it better than most 1080p's? Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Your filters are a bit questionable, but apart from that, it's all looking.
I've sorted that. That was the backing light. It was the backing light at the back, so it had an LED black light on in the back. So I turned it off, and it's made a hell of a difference.
Oh, but fantastic. So yeah, the thing is with us on that very same point, mate, is that how do I explain it? Like we film like our YouTube videos on at least 140 frames. 120, and you will only ever see 60, which is the thing. Now if you got a 1080p screen and you set your quality to 1440p, which I have, you're still only going to see 1080p. It'll look a little bit crisper than 1080p, but it still is just 1080p. So I think
it's the same with our webcams as well. Our webcams in the Facebook and YouTube, that only runs at 30 frames.
Yeah,
just like every other streamer, though. We're not doing anything different. Every streamer's the same.
They do 720 at 60, but
yeah, but like, can you see a difference in the little thumble in the corner? No. Is it worth the processing power?
No. So yeah, point is, if you're interested in PCs, actually go and sit down and like play one. And this is like where Rue's kind of at the minute. He was asking what his next upgrade is. And I've said, well, that is dependent on you, because he's currently on 1080p 70 hertz. Now, I've said you can go one of two ways, like realistically for what any man can afford. You can either go resolution at the cost of slightly lower frame rate, so you can like go 1440p at say 90 to 100 frames on Warzone, what I'm doing, or you can fully commit to 1080p and go to like 200 frames a second, like what obviously yourself's done. So I've said to him, play on your machine, which is 1080p super high frame rate, play on my machine, which is high frame rate and high resolution, just not as high a frame rate.
Well, I mean, really, you should try on mine for the comparison with the graphics cards with you having a 2060 Super.
Well, that's what I'm saying to him. That's what I'm saying to him. See what you like. See if you prefer 1080p with all the frames, or see if you like higher resolution with a high frame rate, but not as high of a frame rate. Like, what way do you want to go? I mean, you could have both. Like, you could have like all the resolution and all the frames if you want to drop $2,000. But I doubt he wants to do that. So realistically, like, these are like your options. So yeah, I'm only saying that because of the price of graphics cards at the minute, just ridiculous, and that'll not probably change till next year now.
I've checked as well, and with my if I want to get a 1440p screen, which I have considered just to have one, because I've got 6 monitors. Because I've got like 6 monitors, all 1080p. I've got some 144 hertz, some 60 hertz. I think I've got a 70 hertz. I've got 244, and a couple of Samsung G4s. Samsung G4s, which are 144 hertz. But I was checking, and even with my 2080 Super and my i9 9900K, if I go to 1440K, I only lose 10 frames.
Kind of, yeah.
If I drop the monitor, so if I drop a monitor, so if I play my game and turn all my other monitors off, I'll only lose 10 frames. But the one thing you got to remember, if you're going to run a PC and you're doing multi-monitor, like, each monitor takes frames. So if you're playing a game and you've got 3 screens open, you're probably losing around 10 to 20 frames.
Yeah, I can attest for that, having 3 screens. So with mine, like, it won't make a massive difference as long as you haven't got a video on the other screens. But if you have a video on the other screens, be it you've got a football match on, or you've got your YouTube video on, or just some music going on, like with like music videos like on YouTube, if you're running video on another screen, you're gonna lose about 15-20% of your performance, just like that. So yeah,
and wait for the higher end CPUs and GPUs, and that's what you lose. So if you're sitting on something like an i5 or one of the lower powered like Ryzen chips, you're gonna lose a lot more than what you would normally do if you're on some of the higher end stuff.
But yeah,
well. So just to bear that in mind when you're all kind of budget building your PCs and you just want to do streaming on a budget and things like that. When you're running monitors, you're running frames, so just prepare yourselves for it, because like, it does hit.
In regard to that, like, comment if you've got any PC questions at all, just comment, let us know. Now in the future we are looking to do this show live, so if we've got like the chat going away, then you do have PC questions while we're in chat, we're happy to answer them. We might even bring in a section where we'll just sit and just dedicate the conversation to whatever you guys are talking about. That's for a later date though. But any questions with PC, just let us know. But speaking on the topics of PC, there has been a lot going on in the PC world of the A1A community at the moment. So the COD mother's boyfriend, Dale, he's obviously got himself into a PC. We haven't upgraded any of his parts per se, but his computer did look like crap, and now it's starting to look really good, with just a few cosmetic changes. So if you remember my personal upgrade video where I replaced the side panel with like a just glass panel, we've done that for him as well. I replaced some of the PCIe slots, which were bright white. I've changed some of them to black, ordered a few more. His power supply cables are all mustard and tan and horrible. He's got a new power supply, which has now got all the black cables, so now it looks super
of my Amazon account.
Courtesy of your Amazon account. But it's looking sleek now, and like loads of small like things, small things that make the biggest difference when it comes to the look of a PC. So he's actually upgraded his PCs. Nothing in there is going to make it any faster, but now it looks good, because the backstory is he's due an operation. He is going to be sat on his arse for a good couple of months, and he doesn't want his PC to look like a beta. So he wants it to look good.
980, 970.
970 he's got. So yeah, it's a PC in good nick. It's a PC in really good nick. So now it's really starting. I know the amount he paid for that PC. Like,
I know. I was telling him, I was like, mate, take it. If you're not going to take it, I'm taking it.
So let's just say he paid a low 3-digit number for a computer that was teetering on the edge of a 4-digit number. So he's done really well there. He's done really well, but no, that's the crack with that particular machine, and it's starting to look really good. Also,
and he has us two at his beck and call every time we go, come have a look at this. I need you to do this.
Yeah.
I'm getting you up. Craig's on his way as well.
So, yeah. Well, we just watched the Toon match last night, and we just had the Toon match going on. I'm doing a computer. It was great for Dale. He looked to his left, and he's got someone tinkering around with his computer. Then looks to the right, and he sees Newcastle whipping Leicester for like 4 out at the time. So, I think it was a good trade for him, really. All it cost him was a cup of tea. And I think I might have actually nicked his spare power supply cable. I thought that was mine initially, but I picked it up thinking it was mine. So if you're watching, Dale, that's where that is. Apologies. Let's go my wise box now.
Back now because he's saying, I'm keeping everything for spares and repairs because you have told us to. And I was like, fuck, I wish I told him that later because I want something to say.
Wait, to be fair, I've got 2 or 3, so if he needs it back, he's more than welcome to it. But I think that was his. But I picked it up thinking it was mine. And then I got home and was like, hang on a second, I didn't take one of these. So I was like, that was Dale's. Oh well. So it's not theft if you own up to it. So
yeah,
also, yeah, it is. Not theft if it's not intentional. Genuinely thought it was mine. So because I always just take spare cables everywhere. What I do, don't you've seen what I do? Like I just rock
cables. He leaves them at mine as well. Leaves them at mine. Screwdrivers. Sets,
I just rock up with loads of spares just in case I need it. And I thought that was just one of those occasions. I was like, but hang on.
Always make sure you're fully in comfort when you're on the computer and he's just got the table and then he's just got all these bits and then he just comes back and forth and just leaves it.
Yeah, I left half my gear up bloody Dale's last time I was over there, like the time before this. I left my screwdriver and my cable ties up there. Honestly. Also, in the PC world of the A1A, this is like kind of like an announcement. So Rue's got a new PC now. So he initially had parts of mine, and he just filled out what I didn't have to make his own. And he did approach me last week, and he was like, right, I want this PC to be mine. So, well, my parts aren't for sale. Goes, that's not what I meant. It's like, ooh, here we go. So he's got a really good PC now, and it looks the shit. It looks really clean. And there is going to be a
picture, like
mate,
a preview picture.
I did a video. I've done a video, got it like a before and after thing going on, and like the
thumbnail,
the way we've built it. So I am going to save that, and that will be dropping on Monday. So
do we get a thumbnail?
Yeah, you're not getting nothing. You're not seeing nothing.
I'll just have him come pick us up. He's got my bank card in his car.
So yeah, the computer looks really good, and I can't wait to show it to you on Monday. And having that kind of PC, I was saying to him because Rue's single. And I was saying to him, mate, a computer like this is a flex. If like any chick says, "Oh, I like games," or "I'm into gaming," or "I've got a console," show her that PC, and that is a massive flex. That's like a, "Hey, hun, I check out my computer," like massive flex.
Can't we got my computer?
It looks that good. It looks that good.
You can tell by nerds, no girls are into computers really. By the way.
Wait, if they've got this, yes, there is. I'm not going to get into it because that's probably going down the street not appropriate for YouTube. But yes, there is. Now, as mentioned in the intro, I am in the market for a micro ITX build. So, the crack behind that is, with the stuff that was in Rue's computer that's of high spec, it's an Intel 6700K, a motherboard comparable, it's got some good stuff. I've got a GTX 1070, which I'll show you here. I'll just bring it up in a moment. I've got a GTX 1070, which is in Joe's computer at the minute. That's a beast of a card. Joe's looking to get his own. I've also got a card in Ginger Fox's machine, which he's in the process of upgrading. How he's managed to find a graphics card for normal price, I don't know. But whatever. So I might have. Either way, I've got a graphics card sorted out for it.
He needs to talk to me about that. Because I want one for Charlie.
He's not even talking to me about that, mate. So yeah, there's a source. I think he's a scalper. I think he's just like a hidden bot. Like, he comes across as, I know nothing about computers, me. But in the background, he set up his own scalping algorithm and he's got it all set up and all that stuff. So
yeah, he doesn't gamble out, does he? For someone who knows out.
I'm feckin' watching you, mate. I'm watching you. He's on about the specs of CPUs and graphics cards, and I'm like, but you don't understand technology. It's like, he's like, yes, it's got this many CUDA cores and it does this, this, and this. It's like, what have I done? What have I created?
Turned you into.
I'm sorry. But that is the way PC gaming goes. You make one little thing. Dale's doing the same thing. You make one little investment, and then it's like one thing, and then it's quite addictive, and you do get a bit of a buzz from it, especially in like lockdown when you haven't got much going on. It's fun, man. But that's the guess that we don't have. Fucking still got the sandbag graphic there. Lol.
Bye, Ben.
Bye, Ben. But yeah, so I'm looking for a build which can actually facilitate this crack, and I need to put all that machinery inside a small box, because I'm gonna have I'm moving out, as everyone in the A1A knows, and I'm gonna have a second machine which is going to be plugged into a TV, which can be doubled up as you can pick up like a control pad. You turn the computer on, it boots into Steam Big Picture, and you can just choose a game and play it. So it's gonna be like a console kind of thing for like guests. So it's gonna be a PC console, so to speak. But
looks like it's ready to take a ready meal.
That's a little microwave in it. That's not.
It's like microwave.
Just for preference, by the way, is that this computer here, it's
not a computer.
It's not a computer, no. I'm not using this particular rig, so to speak. I've said to Joe, find me something that's super small and I can use, which is no bigger than a console. You come at me with this, and I was like, smaller. It's like, what? Smaller. It's like, that's impossible. I want smaller, which will fit that graphics card. So he was just like, are you mental? It's like, yes. And then you're all saying it was before, well, it's a very tedious thing to do. Have you seen my cable management? Everything I do with computers is tedious, but I do it anyway for the love of it. If it can't work, I will make it work.
The real reason he doesn't want this is because it comes with a chicken tikka instead of bangers and mash.
Hardy ha. Hardy ha. But I really, mate, I've always wanted an ITX build. However, I've always wanted, like, the most expensive thing in any room that's going to be there is going to be the computer, realistically. I can't put my car in there. I can't put my car in my bedroom, but I can put my PC there. And if I'm spending that much on a PC, I want it to be the centerpiece of the room, which is why it's got its glowy lights, which is why it's big and why it looks absolutely amazing. A little PC isn't going to achieve that per se. So what I want is for it to, as a second PC, but with that micro ITX build. So I can just be like, right, okay, pick up, put somewhere else. My dad wants to play a game or something downstairs on the television. Right, just pick up the box. There it goes. Like, I want this machine to be super, super, super small. Now, it's got an i7 in it. It'll have 16 gigs of RAM in it. It's going to have everything it needs. But I want it to be the shit. So, guys, if in the comment section, if you know any micro ITX builds which you want me to have a little look at and to consider in terms of cases, or let me know in the comment section below. I'm bringing this out to you because I want your thoughts, and maybe I want you guys to be involved in this PC build. So yeah, get in touch and let us know, because I've been hoarding PC stuff, which is now in other people's computers. I've got a monitor over Eric's. I've got bits and pieces. I was a shot, mate. I've got bits and pieces in your Charlie's machine. I've got bits and pieces in Connor's machine. I had bits and pieces in Rue's machine.
So got a piece in Charlie's machine.
Oh no, it's a piece now. That's right, because you didn't actually take the RAM, did you?
No, I've got all our RAM.
I
paid for it all, my friend.
I've got bits and pieces.
The only thing I've been able to get my hands on is a GPU that is worthy.
I've got bits and pieces in Joe's machine. So, well, that's this graphics card. So yeah, bits and pieces everywhere, and I've been hoarding the parts, and now I've got enough parts just to go. You know what? Start it. Let's just get it. Let's do the second PC. So yeah, kind of leaning that way for that. But now it is going to be time to talk about news, announcements, and rumours. So, Hexy, would you like to start us off?
With, what would you like? A news, announcement, or a rumour?
Oh, well.
Just giving you a choice.
We have all of them today. Just start
I
with the
don't know
top
where
one.
to start.
Start with the top one.
I know, but I don't like the top one. So, COD 2021 confirmed. World War II work in Verdansk.
So, why do you not like this topic?
Because it won't work.
Because it won't work. It won't work, damn it.
It won't work. You can't, without taking out modern warfare, it can't work.
Okay.
And Verdansk is nothing without modern warfare. Otherwise, it's just Cold War.
And Cold War is not really... Okay, let's go there then. So, yeah, just in case you guys didn't know, there was a rumour circulating that there might not be a Call of Duty release this year, which I kind of think the industry, I think Call of Duty and its developers, I think they need a year break as well. Because you look at Assassin's Creed had a break, and they came back with Odyssey, was it? Or the one before that? Origins, I think it was Origins. And they came back with Origins, just with an extra year development, and they pulled that out, just with an extra year.
Which is a visual masterpiece.
That is incredible. The fact that you just take your time, do it. Battlefield don't release games until they're ready, typically.
Yeah.
They always release like shit, like in terms of like being full of bugs. But the actual game itself is polished when you can play it.
They always released it with Call of Duty as well. I think, do you know what? Let Call of Duty do their release. Let them get their hype and drop Battlefield after.
You're thinking it should be a spring release or a summer release?
I think that'll do Battlefield all the justice because Call of Duty's got too big of a name, too big of a player base, and you got to remember that a lot of these targets are marketed for the younger generation, even though they're 18 plus. The 13, 14-year-olds are all begging their parents for these games. The parents can't afford all these games at once. They've got their partners and however many children they've got. They might have siblings or whatever. A lot of the time, by the time Battlefield and Call of Duty release kind of like round about the same area, more people are invested in Call of Duty automatically because it's easy play style. It's not difficult to get a hold of. And it's very easy to just pick up and play. Battlefield's a bit more technical. It takes a little bit more kind of training. It's a little bit harder to play. It's a bit more in depth. You've got bullet time, travel, and all that stuff. It's just more. It's more of a realistic game, and because of that, it takes more work.
Yeah. So
which people aren't really invested in.
I think the point is really though is that COD is due a break, and I think the fact that you've got a game mode which can last a year or two, like Modern Warfare, for example, that's still going strong. Like that's a 2-year game. I know people will argue that Cold War is the multiplayer game, but it's not. There's more people playing Modern Warfare than Cold War. Like
I couldn't even get a game in Cold War, and I tried to do it for an LC10 just to do a couple of levels, and I ended up just doing it with zombies with you.
Yeah, it's like Modern Warfare is a 2-year game, which kind of proves the point that if you make a game good enough, it's going to be good. Because Modern Warfare had a 3-year development cycle, did it not? Or something in that region, 2.5 years.
It was a lot. It was like 56 months or something.
Yeah,
it was great. It was a long
ages.
time.
That's ages. If you're saying 50 months, that's like 4 years or 5 years or something.
I think it was like 4 or 5 years. The development.
50 months, 4 and a bit years. 4 years, 2 months.
They started designing that straight after the release. It was like, no, it was before. That was in the market for ages. That one.
Yeah. So the point is, when you put time into a game, you can make it a 2-year game. Like you've already got a 2-year game with Warzone, 3-year game, easy. So just let the game breathe, and then make the next game that you bring out even better. Because I don't think like the World War II aspect of this is a rumor. It's what leaks have been saying. It's a alternate reality World War II, which I do actually think the premise of that is quite interesting. But the premise of Cyberpunk was quite interesting until they cocked that up. So, yeah. You know what I mean? So, don't have high hopes.
An expensive waste.
Yeah. But next up on the news announcements and rumours, we have talked about Titanfall 2. But Titanfall 2 gets support again. So, there was a DDoS attack problem for Titanfall. And there was one for Apex as well. But they addressed the Titanfall 2 one first. Which they're supporting Titanfall 2 again, which is brilliant news. That gives me hope for Titanfall 3, and that's where the rumor comes in. Titanfall 3, if they get that release day right. I think
I'll be over it. I'll be
think
all over it.
Titanfall 3, if they release it at a reasonable time, will be a COD killer. Not a Warzone killer, but I think it will be a COD killer. Saying it now. You heard it here first, everyone. I think it's
I've
that
got
good.
one for you, right? And I know they've kind of already got one because of Apex, right? So I don't really care about that, right? But what if they did a Titanfall Battle Royale? So it was like
They
the
try to
Titans.
do that. That's what Apex was meant to be. Like, they developed Apex Legends with Titans in mind, but it just didn't, and like pilots and the wall running and all that stuff in mind. They said the balance of the game just wasn't, the balance of the game just wasn't right, just wasn't working, it wasn't good.
I think they're lying. I think it would be amazing.
Mate, you can tell by the developers' interviews they were gutted they couldn't get Titans in the game. So yeah.
I mean, you don't have to have the Titans.
But the developers want to make Titanfall 3, and I think it has been commissioned. But it is just a case of when are they going to get around to it, because EA have kind of realised they've got a really talented bunch of developers in Respawn Entertainment. So they put them on stuff like, what do you call it? Star Wars. I think they put them on Battlefield 5 for a little bit to get that out quicker. They're all over the place, Respawn now, and that's really exciting. Battlefront, sorry, not Battlefield.
I hate that game.
But
Don't like it.
that game was a lot better than what it would have been. You can guarantee that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The gameplay of Battlefront was fine. It was great. It was just the mobile gaming like monetization structure that did it no justice, and you can't blame that on Respawn. Like that.
No. Respawn are basically visual developers.
They're not visual developers. They're full game developers.
Yeah,
but
you know what I mean.
They were only playing a support role in that. But the point is, Respawn wants to make Titanfall 3, and I think they do. Amazing. Also in news this week, Rue upgraded his PC. Video coming on Monday, which we talked about, but that is official news. That is a news. You want to watch that video. I think the upgrade path and the before and after is miles different to the one that I put out. Don't get us wrong, mine's good. You got to see my PC in all its glory and how much of a difference a couple of aesthetic changes can make. Actually, to be fair, the cooler has made a massive temperature difference. But this change, you're going to look at that and think that is a horrible PC. And then you're going to look at the after and think, holy hell, what a flex. And the new one that I'm hoping that you tell us about, Hexy, is there is a new gun in COD, recently brought in, a challenge gun. Tell me about it.
I just call it the Chava.
The Chava. Go on then, tell me more about it.
So it's basically, I think Cold War tried to design another like burst meta. After just literally cancelling them out.
Which you can pay a premium for a premium skin, and we will sell millions of these skins before we nerf the game, the gun.
Oh yeah, obviously, as they always do. So just like they do. Although I am quite surprised that I know we're kind of on the top of the gun, but I'm really surprised I haven't nerfed the AK yet. But they did do an AMAX nerf, which was weird. Although not really, because it's kind of OP.
An AMAX nerf, which wasn't a nerf. We made one extra shot to kill if you're not hitting the upper torso at maximum range. Is that a nerf? Really?
Not really, because if you're at that range, you're not really using that gun anyway.
Ooh, you're hard. Like, that's not a nerf.
But yeah, so I haven't used the gun because I cannot even get a game in Cold War. So I physically can't get a game in it. And it's got to the point now where I've just removed it. No multiplayer Cold War. I've got zombies, that's it. But I have seen it, and it looks like before even attachments, it has absolutely zero recoil. A build for this gun, I would imagine, would probably be you're probably going to get like a short to medium range sight. You don't need to put any attachments on it for recoil, so you don't need to worry. You can pretty much long ADS build it, so long barrels, quick ADS attachments, stock, grips, handles, and you're going to be golden for like the next couple of weeks probably.
So you see the nerf coming, but you see it happening after they sold a bunch of reactive camo skins for it, basically.
But yeah, because they've got like an alien gun for it at the moment, haven't they? It kind of looks like something out of Halo. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not really excited. Like, I had a look at it and I was just like, is this going to be the meta really? This piece of crap. This
piece of shit.
This is what you're doing to us after like a year and a half of full-fledged commitment.
Yeah,
No.
which is why I kind of think that which is why I'm kind of like a little bit skeptical of this if it is World War II, implement of the new COD game being brought into Warzone, because it took long enough to get the last one. Like, the game released in what, November? November it was, wasn't it? The game released in November, and it isn't. You can argue it hasn't properly been implemented until like last week or the week before. Obviously, they brought the guns in. That's not really implementation. That's just dumping loads of guns in, and you can't say it was implemented because they were all bloody broken. So it hasn't been.
In case you had no iron sights.
Hasn't been correctly implemented until about a week ago. And just for reference, if you're watching this video in the future, it's May 2021. That game's been out for 7 months, and they've only just got it to the implementation to the stage where you can say, actually, nothing's broken. 7 months of that game being implemented, and we'll finally have balance. Wait,
no, it's still broken. There's no iron sights on the Groza, AK-74U. PPSH is still shown as a Mark 10.
Well, there you go. That's you know what I mean.
Picked up a PPSH and got a Mark 10. Like, you don't know what you're picking up.
So you want to tell us, like Activision, you want to tell us that Warzone, where Black Ops isn't even implemented properly yet, you want to come at us and tell us that another game's going to get implemented when you haven't even got this one right yet? Get away in shite. Just saying.
We paid for all the multiplayer aspects, and we paid the big bundles and all that stuff to get all the.
You paid the big bundles. You're a mug.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of lose interest in the investment into the Call of Duty games. Although the multiplayers were fun over the years, and they kind of died out.
That's actually going to be next week's topic, and that's going to be something that we'll talk about on the channel next week as well in its own separate video. But is Call of Duty dead? I don't mean Warzone. Call of Duty. Is Call of Duty dead multiplayer? Like,
I'm hoping Battlefield are going to destroy it this year. I'm really hoping they're going to destroy it. But I say this year, it's going to be next year. But yeah. I really hope they bring full game, because I think if they release it alongside another Call of Duty, I think whoever is the producer or organising that shit over there needs a good smack on the side of the head.
Probably be the same person that put Apex in between the two.
Like, because you can't put years of development into a game and then release it alongside a mainstream game. That already, you got to remember, Call of Duty hasn't got the bigger player base because of how good it is. They've got the bigger player base because how easy the game is to play,
accessible,
and how accessible it is across the platform.
But the more people that are getting into the games, though, even the casuals, they're beginning to pick up the high grade tactics now. And now that you've got that development and you can understand, when you've got that base, jumping into Battlefield's not that too different. Ground War in Modern Warfare plays a lot like Battlefield. Obviously, it's a completely different game, of course, but it plays very similar to Battlefield. So yeah, it is.
Wait, the other reason as well was Battlefield is a lot more graphically.
Yeah.
Thing. So also you need a computer to run it, and just because you've got a computer that can run Call of Duty does not mean that it's accessible to Battlefield.
Yeah.
Battlefield does require a little bit more because it's got bigger maps, it's got more people, there's more explosions.
What I will say is, though, with Battlefield is that it does get its console optimization right first time. So though the graphics are amazing on PC, it's not like a Cyberpunk where you're completely stuffed for graphics. Like, they usually do the console implementations well. Obviously, they look nothing like the PC counterparts, but they do still look good for Battlefield games, and they get it right. They get their ports right, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, for every platform, if they go cross-platform on Battlefield, I think I hope it kills COD. I really do, because I'm saying that because I love COD. That might not sound might sound contradictory. Just knock that.
It's tough love.
It's tough love, but like I said before, the more competition there is, the better the other thing will be. Competition's good. So if Battlefield kills COD, then COD's got to be like, right, we need to step our game up. And it's when COD steps their game up, that's when you want to be playing it. That's when it's at its best, when it feels threatened. Because when COD's not threatened, you get ghosts. When COD is threatened, you get Modern Warfare 2019. Like, that is how it is. So
Wait, back originally in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. I mean Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the first original one. That release was that was epic. That was that's still rated today the best.
Yeah, that was threatened by the likes of Killzone and Resistance and stuff like that, wasn't it, at the time? Yeah, get my knowledge off the top of my head. But yeah, when there's competition, COD is amazing. When there's no competition, it falls flat on its face like it has with Black Ops. Cold War.
Lazy, and the games aren't made for you. They're just made for them. They make games for you when there's competition, when they know you're thinking about going elsewhere.
Exactly. But we'll pick more up on that next week, because like I say, that a topic is called Call of Duty Dead, the multiplayer aspect. That is. I suppose there's the argument, could you say Warzone's dying? But that we'll pick
People
that up.
People are definitely losing interest. And you can see within the streamers as well.
We'll pick that up next week, though. We've got a little topic next week for you already. In terms of a guest, we haven't got the guest decided yet, but we do have options. As you guys make this stream more popular, more people are interested in being involved in it. So the first week we want to do it is anyone want to be a guest. People are like, what the hell are you talking about? But now that we're 3 episodes in, people are like, yeah, okay, I'll see what you guys have got. And this video has been based a lot on games, which is good, because obviously the first one was based about technology, second one was based about the entertainment industry, and this one's all about the game. So like, we've got a good bit of variation here. I agree. We've got guests that are going to be talking about streaming and the state the streaming places in. We've got guests that will be talking about the TV industry lined up, and we do. Well, yeah, we've got guests. We've got guests that bring different things to the medium.
Just getting their time, because time, obviously everyone's back at work now as well. So getting the available time for me, Craig, and the guests to be kind of not working on a stream, or at least in a live situation where we can just have a conversation with someone without having the time to play games and stuff. Because you gotta remember, a lot of the people that we're trying to get for you to have a conversation with, get to know a little bit more about, they have full-time jobs, and they're generally in some sort of content creation, or so they're investing in something.
I can testify to this. Like, when you got a full-time job and you're in the content creation game, you don't really have much time for out else. Like the 90 minutes that it takes to do this, 2 hours it takes to do this, is a big ask of anyone.
That's just the editing, by the way, people.
I know that's just live. Fucking 5 hours. You want to class the editing, just with the renders and the remux that I got to do for this. But no, we're all going to move on, because I am running out of time. I need to be heading literally out the house in the next 10 minutes. So it is time for Did Yee Kna? So, Alan, have you brought a Did Yee Kna for today?
Okay. So we're gonna go with, we did Sea Life, didn't we, last time? Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the flamingo.
Oh, go on.
So did you know that the flamingo does not bend their legs at the knee? They bend it at the ankle. And their knee is actually covered by feathers. You can't see a flamingo's knee.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that. When you said that,
So
I thought you were talking shit.
That bottom arch, how a flamingo's leg kind of goes backwards and then down, that bit is actually his ankle. His knee is actually in the feather.
Do you know why they stand up on one leg?
Isn't that a balance thing?
Nope, because the ground that they're usually on is that hot, and they usually lift their leg up to cool.
Really?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it cool? Anyways, my Did Yee Kna, Hexy, that the more you remember something, the more you forget it, the less accurately you remember it. So the more you recollect something, the less accurately you remember it. Did you know that?
I did not. I thought the fact of remembering was you knew, not that you didn't know.
No,
that's like an Inception mindfuck.
It is. So that, yeah. So the more that you think and remember something, the more you recollect a certain thing through your head, the less accurately you actually remember it.
Is that because it becomes more of an automatic thing?
The more you remember it, the more imagination you've got to use to recreate it. I don't know the exact science behind it, but
that's crazy.
Yeah, the more you remember something, the less you remember it.
I've never been fingered on video before.
Wow, keep it classy, mate.
It's just like,
but yeah, like, some good facts there. I'm gonna. Your fact was quite good, to be fair. Like, mine was like Inception, but yours was like oh damn.
I just think animals are quite cool, and I love animals. Cool. I love them, and I think a lot of the time we don't even deserve half the ones we've got.
No.
So.
No. I do think pandas should be extinct though. Like, everyone's like, oh, protect the pandas, but like, I'm kind of like natural selection at the same time. Like, they refuse to shag each other. They eat bamboo when they're bears. Like, why are they even a thing? Like, they literally contribute nothing.
Yeah.
They literally...
Like a bee contributes things. Like, a lot of people think, oh, it's a bee, squish.
It's got
a bee actually contributes things. It's got a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything has a purpose.
I can't think of anything other than snapping bamboo. I mean, I suppose they look pretty cool, but you can't even have one as, like, a companion.
The price of my underwear would be a lot cheaper if there weren't bamboos around as well. If there was more bamboo around. Supply demand.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking. Don't kill the bears for underwear. That was just a joke. Just a joke, environmentalists.
Just like, you know, when pandas are extinct, it's because Mr. Hoff is wearing them.
Just because I'm wearing my step ones. But no, it was just a joke. I don't actually want pandas to die for the sake of underwear. Hashtag save the pandas for underwear. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to conclude it right there. We have went over our 1 hour 15 minute time limit. However, not by much. So, yeah, that's fine. But guys, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button below. Comment, subscribe, share. Get this shared. It's a big thing. We're trying to grow this particular project.
Wherever the share button will be.
Wherever the share button will be. Yeah, somewhere down there. And yeah, guys, like, if you want to have a little chat, let's have a little chat in the comment section below. But next week, we are going to have some fun talking about the death of COD. And depending on what guest we secure, well, I say secure, we've already got the guests secured, it's just when we can get around to getting them on. So yeah, guys, we got a lot going on in this channel. It's going to be busy this week. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the death of Call of Duty. We're going to be talking about Drew's computer upgrade, and I might even try and slide in a gameplay video as well if I have time to make one. So guys, till then, I've been Shadows Rain, I've been Hoff, this has been Hexy, and you guys have been awesome. And we'll see you in the next Talk Away A1A podcast. Peace. Yeah.